Hey guys, welcome to Arena Chat, where I, Mikey Microphone, the world's foremost expert on duels, aka Duels of the Planeswalkers, walks you through your most important questions about Magic Arena. Now, everybody loves Magic. Almost everyone who ever really learned how to play Magic loves it. And that's why people are so emotional about Arena. They want to say, is this going to cause me problems? Is this going to hurt the game that I love? Are there going to be some bad decisions in here that I can foresee because I think about this game so much? And looks from what we've seen so far, everything looks really good. I think that most of people's biggest fears have been cast out before they even started. But there's still a long way to go. Still a lot of work to do, and there's still a lot we don't know. But as far as what we do know, I am here to help you assuage your fears and try to get you on board so that you can be part of the community of players that helps shape this product. And that's very important. So first question, does Arena support instants? Yes, it does. It supports the full range of Magic rules, at least the ones that are required for the current set of rules that is legal in Standard. And it looks like this will be Standard a year from now, Ixalan being the first set that is supported. So right now, we're about to enter the Standard where Kaladesh is the oldest set that's supported. Starting with Ixalan is a hint that duels will probably not come out until next year. Right now they're in the alpha, and as Magic players we know that after alpha is beta, and then after beta is unlimited. So the demo looked incredible, and really hats off to them for going through a demo without almost any issues whatsoever. Those of us in the industry will know that the demo gods don't usually allow that sort of thing to happen. But instants are supported. So the question is, what's the interface for stopping play so that you can cast an instant? And I think they have come up with a lot of really cool ideas. So the thing is that by bringing a paper game to a digital platform, they're able to explore some things that weren't possible before. And those who have played duels know that the interface for casting instants is pretty good. It's not flawless though. There's a few times that I can remember where I felt like I lost a game because I tried to tap the pause button but it didn't register the tap. The pause button thing was a good interface. It's not necessarily good enough for competitive play though, because people need to be able to make those decisions in an untimed fashion. There's no 4-second time limit for deciding whether to pass priority, and so it's a dilemma. Do you want to make them interrupt if they do want priority, or do you want to make them acknowledge that they're passing priority? And each interface has its strengths and weaknesses. Now what they're going to do is use AI to determine when the most likely scenarios that you would interrupt things are, and they're going to let you override that if you choose by saying, okay, I want to go into full control mode and I'm going to pass priority every time that it is actually passed to me. So I think the interface is going to serve you whatever you need to do in terms of playing correctly and taking the line to victory. The main issue that is going to come out of this is in terms of bluffing. If you're playing blue, are you going to pass priority discreetly after every, like if you might have Force of Will in your deck, for instance, or you might have Pact of Negation, are you going to pass priority discreetly after every action, or are you going to let the game pass it for you in the moments when you actually don't have those cards in your hand? Okay, so that's up to you to decide, because you can kick it into full control mode at any time. And if you think that the competitive culture on Arena is going to be of a nature where people are going to notice how quickly you're passing priority, then that's a decision for you to make. And so that will lead to interface issues where it's like, oh, this interface is a little too clunky for me to pass priority. Like, for example, if you have to click the button and if there's no keystroke for you to use to pass that priority, that's an interface issue. And that's the type of thing that we want to surface as early in this beta process as possible. So get involved. Second question, does it cost money? I am actually very surprised and thrilled to report that no, it does not cost any money. Similar to Duels, you can play it for free, you can earn cards for free, and you only have to spend money if you want to accelerate the process of accumulating cards. So this is pretty incredible, ladies and gentlemen, to have a free platform in an environment where we are almost definitely not going to be seeing ads for anything else. This is just a game. This is just a free video game. So that's pretty amazing. And as to the cost of boosters within the game, so when you want to invest, are they going to be well costed? Or are they going to kind of overshoot that and end up inhibiting the growth of their own game? It's possible. Things like that are always a danger because digital games tend to make more money off of whales than they do off of getting it's more profitable for them to get a ton of money from a few people than it is to get a little money from a lot of people. So there is a danger there, but I think what we've seen from Wizards of the Coast is that they understand that having a community that's healthy in the long term is more profitable to them than trying to eke every dollar out of the community in the short term. So we'll see. We'll see what the cost of those boosters is, but there is at least some reason to be optimistic there. Does it allow trading? Okay, there is another reason to be optimistic, but it's also good to be realistic, right? So a platform like this, it does cost a lot to operate, and they are going to need to generate revenue in order to support and continue expanding the platform. For instance, a lot of people are hoping that this platform will support Legacy and Modern, and it's going to take a lot of energy to both create that possibility in the first place and to maintain and support it over the long run. So thinking about trading as another one of those trade-offs between short-term profit and long-term community strength. A lot of people look at Arena and it reminds them of Hearthstone. Okay, so you think about getting to the number of players that Hearthstone has. You think about getting to the point where tens of millions of people are playing this on almost a daily basis. And I think, again, we can look at Wizards as a mature company that knows how to do community management, and they know that having a long-term winner is more profitable than trying to suck profits out of a market and then move on. As Magic approaches its 25th anniversary, we are actually getting to a point where it's pretty realistic to look at this as a game that could be played by almost everyone in the world. This is the new iPhone. This is the new thing that everyone can have. And there is only one company that has the legal rights to print these cards. So I think that in terms of inhale, exhale, are we gonna use this as a opportunity to inhale more customers, or are we going to use it as an opportunity to exhale the ones who are most annoying and least profitable? I think that this is obviously an inhale, right? So everyone who has already commented on this game has pointed out that the biggest strength that Arena offers is player acquisition. So in terms of trading though, will it allow trading? Now the reason I think that it might is because Magic's top brass is very in touch with the fact that one of the three main things that has made Magic a success is the fact that you can trade cards. And trading not only refers to like swapping my cards with your cards, it also refers to moving cards in and out of your deck, and that you can replace one card with another and your deck will still perform in roughly the same way. So that is one of the major strengths of Magic, and Magic's top brass is intimately familiar with
the fact that that is a strength that they have bestowed upon the world. So I think it is possible that this platform will ultimately allow trading. That's my sense. Will it support Commander?
Okay, so initially the game is focused on standard, and then it will focus on draft. It will focus on standard from Ixalan going forward, and then after most of those problems, after 80% of those problems are solved, then it will start to also commit some resources to, presumably it will start with modern and then legacy. It might start with commander before modern, but in terms of supporting the cards that people you tend to use for commander, modern is not really enough. Okay, so that opens some interesting questions. Would it be interesting to play a version of commander that had a very limited card pool? Of course it would. Commander is fun no matter what card pool you play with. And Commander arguably is one of the communities of Magic players that could be best served by this product, because this product is designed to be goofy and fun. Like, you saw the animation of the tyrant, the dinosaur that has hexproof. So I will tell you, as a duels player, that the animations are one of the coolest parts of the game. The animations not only add to the flavor of the interaction, but they also go a long way towards explaining the mechanics. For example, the Sphinx that can't be targeted by stuff, it has like a bubble, like a sphere, like a force field around it. And then when it gets targeted by something and the shield goes down so it can actually be hit by the second targeting, the shield goes away. So that's one example of how these animations not only make it beautiful, and they do a beautiful job at leveraging the technology to make cool looking animations, they also help you understand the game, and they also give you a shortcut towards mentally grokking the board states. So the animations are amazing, and that's just one example of how the splashiness and emphatic nature of this platform is something that will be great for Commander. Now, it also has the sort of perspective, so the cards are shown at an angle that indicates that you're looking across a table, and that type of interface does give you a little more room for the 4 players and the complex boards that go along with a Commander match. So Commander is arguably a very important community to support. If you make your voices heard and you tell Wizards that you want them to support Commander, they will do it. And can they do it? Yes, duh. Anything is possible. Computer programming has no limitations. It's just a matter of how much time you put into it. And this company is profitable, so if they can continue working on it, they will eventually get there. We want to convince them that it will be profitable to support Commander, because it would take a pretty insane amount of work on their part to make that possible up front. And will that be as much fun as playing around a table with your friends? No, of course not. But is it still going to be a great way to connect with more people than you would be able to otherwise? Yes, obviously. So tell WotC how you feel about playing Commander with a limited card pool, because that's likely going to be a factor in whether they think it's worth it to implement it first or last. And in terms of support for Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Cube, and Pauper, those things will come in time. I am going to go on record saying I do fully expect this platform to wind up supporting the full range of Magic cards. Not everyone is so optimistic that this platform will be a success, but based on what I've seen, what I've been able to see between the lines as a database developer, I can see how these competencies are flowing through the community, the company. I can see how much they have been able to acquire talent, which is one of the hardest things about doing a major league development project, is that programmers are in very high demand these days, and it's hard to attract talent. Wizards has an obvious advantage because people love working on Magic. So I think that is working in their favor. They're in Seattle, same company as Adobe and Microsoft, so there are, and Amazon, right? So there's a lot of technical expertise in that community, and I think they will be able to
Support Commander Legacy and XYZ, Q, WB, R, and J. I think they will be able to. Might take a few years. Will they use sideboarding?
So the major thing about duels was that you couldn't play a best 2 out of 3 match. In this platform, you can. So it's similar to duels with that major exception. It will play legit Magic where you play best 2 of 3, you have a sideboard, you can play in a tournament, you can do a draft. So it's basically going to be very, very, very similar to playing Friday Night Magic. You'll be able to play Standard, you'll be able to play Draft, and all of the rules will be in place. You'll be able to use a sideboard. So that question was actually the easiest one to answer. And then will it spell doom for MTGO? So a lot of people are wondering, will my collection of cards on MTGO lose value? No, I doubt that they will. I think that, so one of the reasons why it makes sense from a development perspective to create a new platform rather than focusing 100% of their resources on MTGO is because when you create a data architecture, every decision that you make incorporates compromises. It will enable some things, but it will prevent others. And when you have had a system in place for 15 years, or MTGO, I think MTGO is about that old, there's a lot of things that you have learned in the meantime that help inform you to say, if I were to start over, I would have done it differently. There's also a ton of new technologies that are available and feasible to use that was not the case when that platform was developed, and also has not been the case throughout most of its history from when it's been supported and maintained. So it makes sense to start fresh and to use new technologies, use different types of databases, and use different data architecture. There is a possibility that it would be too onerous to migrate the data from MTGO collections into Arena collections. However, I think that this is very unlikely. From the perspective of a developer, I think that problem can be solved, and I think there is enough of a reason to solve it that they will commit the energy to solving that problem, and you do not have to worry about your MTGO collection becoming worthless. Now, I don't know any details about the platform that they are choosing to migrate from, so I could be wrong. And I also, I will acknowledge that certain business people might argue it makes more sense to not honor those collections and to actually invite people to play this platform by purchasing a new collection, starting a new one. For some of the reasons that I stated earlier, I do not think that this is a line that Wizards is inclined to take. I think, although they do have corporate parent, they have Hasbro, and everyone loves, speculating about conspiracies about how Hasbro wants to squeeze money out of this industry. I think it's been pretty well demonstrated that they understand the value of having a long-term player base, and their MTGO customers are many of their most valuable players. I mean, you've sunk tens of thousands of dollars into this game, and that's not to say that it's a lot relative to the amount that you've gotten out of it, the amount that you've played it, but it would take a lot of maturity to say, okay, well, that was that, and now I'm going to start to invest more if I want more. Will those collections be honored? I think they will. Will MTGO continue to be supported? I think it will. I think they have I think they have the platform pretty well in hand. It takes, doubtless, it takes a lot of engineers to keep it running, and it will keep falling down. They will keep having to pick it back up. And at some point in the future, yes, perhaps it will be sunset. At that point, okay, so I'm going to argue that it will not be sunset until all of the formats supported by MTGO have already been ported to Arena. I'm also going to argue that collections from MTGO will be honored in Arena. So the only real difference at that stage between MTGO and Arena will be the interface. And the look and feel of it, the controls that you use to control it, and things of that nature. So at that point, yes, MTGO will probably be sunset. Not necessarily, you know, it depends on how large the community has grown by then. And it is totally feasible that they will maintain them as parallel platforms where some things are stronger on one, other things are stronger on the other. Or maybe MTGO has some formats that Arena will never get around to supporting. You know, when something is niche, there does come a point where it would be a poor decision to support it on Arena. It just wouldn't be worth it as a business, and we need the business to save its resources for things that matter more, for designing great cars, for preventing things from getting too unbalanced, for bringing new players into the game, for supporting the players that are on the pro level that we want to see at the premier events. So there are a lot of things in their budget that are more important than perhaps Pauper or Cube. And it also kind of makes sense that they would want to keep some things exclusive to MTGO so that they could continue to have some energy in there. You might argue it makes more sense to go for a sunset and switch over type business, but on the other hand, there might be some really amazing reasons to want to keep that MTGO network running and try to keep some blood running through it. If for no other reason than to just completely continue to understand all the strengths that it has as an interface so that we can find new ways to incorporate those strengths into the Arena interface. Or maybe another interface, maybe something beyond Arena that will be even more supportive of cross-platform play. Maybe it will be sort of like like in Star Wars when you had to let the Wookiee win. Kind of a 3D thing where the creatures walk around and everything is completely animated as opposed to like cardstock kind of slamming, butting heads on stuff, right? So that's what I thought Arena was going to be. I thought that there was going to be fully animated art for every action that the creatures took. So maybe we'll get there. Maybe that will be the next generation after Arena. But I think that MTGO is not going to be nerfed in any significant way. When that sunset occurs, will there be some things that are lost in the transition? Yeah, I guess it's almost inevitable that there will be some things. Hopefully it's just certain details of the interface that you preferred. Potentially there will be some formats that don't survive the rebirth. But in terms of the collections and their value, as it were, I think it is extraordinarily unlikely that they would sunset the value of your collection. So please let me know if you have any information that I missed that might impact on the accuracy of my prognostication.
The last thing that I wanted to say is 100% satisfaction guaranteed. So the 100% is outside of their control, but satisfaction guaranteed is inside of the pocket. So Wizards has made it clear that they want your feedback. They want to know what's most important to you so that they can focus on those things first. And they want to know why it's important to you so that they can understand all of the different options they have for making that happen. So please get involved with the process, and I will put some links to those people on my list platform at wayswemage.com, and I'll link to that within this video. So get involved, be that squeaky wheel, be very straightforward and explain why you feel what you believe, and we'll find a way to get there. With programming, with modern programming, in Seattle, anything is possible, and all of these things will come into play. Now, the main thing is what's the order that they're gonna fall into place. And the order is important to get right because new players need to come in and they need to be introduced to things in the right order. I'm gonna drop some information about that into a lot of my other videos. But if you want to get closer to 100% satisfaction guaranteed, then you have to take part in the process and make sure that it's not just 0% satisfaction guaranteed. Okay, so let's hear from you and tell them Mikey Microphone sent you.